less people are here, and hopefully more and more are watching from their desks. And that's the goal. The only limitation is that we won't be able to interact by voice, but if you send questions in, we would try to answer them. So that's where we are. A couple of updates, quick updates, and then hopefully we would work with you on the questions that you might have. Chris, do you want to talk about the updates on deadlines coming up?
Yeah, sure. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Ooh, there's a glare. Okay, so there's a couple of things I just want to remind you of. The upcoming deadlines. It's, it's name of my game, all the proposals. So one thing, today is May 25th. If you don't know what today is, it's a very special day. Why, you ask? It's NIH's new Forms D application deadline day. So, yay, the crowd goes wild. Anyway, so everybody must be using the Forms D. If not, your application will be rejected and your proposal will not be reviewed for consideration by the agency. It's extremely important to make sure that you are using the current call as well when you download your application package. If you are not sure which call that is for the parent announcements, call our office. We have all the links and websites. We are happy to send that to you. If you have any questions and you can't find it on NIH's website, definitely give us a call. Do not guess. We don't want that to happen to you or your faculty member. So what will happen is I'll ask Arlita to come up here and talk about a little bit of the changes. She went through and read all the changes for the Forms D. Now she'll just give you a brief overview. However, we will try to send out something more detailed in a couple of weeks to give you a better understanding of the changes between the Forms D and the Form C. And if you have any questions in the meantime, feel free to call our office. That's what we're here for. We're here to help you so that your submission is a successful one. So right now, the biggest deadline that is coming up for June is June 5th. For those of you that aren't aware, it's the R01s, the research grants, the not the R's, the UO1s, which is the research competitive cooperative grants, as well as the K series on the 12th. And then the R03s and the R21s, which a lot of us know as the experimental research grants, are on June 16th. On June 25th is the ARA, which is the, or ERA, it's the Academic Research Enhancement Awards. Those are also due on the 25th of June. For NSF, we have several that are coming up for June. We have June 1st and June 2nd for miscellaneous calls into June 13th and 14th and 16th seem to be the biggest ones. Coming up in July is going to be the research for the academic awards for the faculty members that are new. Those are on, I think it's the 18th, 19th, and 20th of July. So those are coming up. As for USDA, I know last month there was a lot of still pending calls. They hadn't been released yet for all the RFPs. God bless you. And now most of them have been released, which is great. However, you have to go individually and look at each call to see, because there's rolling deadlines for them, especially for the foundation. The foundation program for AFRI starts on July 14th and goes through September 30th. That has rolling deadlines. You have to look at each division to see what deadline that you need to submit for, and if you need to submit a pre-proposal for that or a letter of intent. They're very structured and very clear what you need to do. But coming up in July through August and into September is when we're going to have the majority of the USDA, NEFA, AFRI submissions. The other thing that we noticed this month, that with the implementation of uniform guidance and indirect costs, it's really important to read the call carefully, because some of the calls are being worded that's misleading, that alludes to the fact that there could be a limitation in the indirect cost, but there isn't. And so it can cause confusion for the faculty member of what rate to apply. If you have any concerns and it is not clear, please call our office. send us the call. We will review it, evaluate it, and respond to you as timely as we can so that your budget will be appropriately reflected of the correct indirect cost. Do you guys have any questions?
So you want Erlita to come
Yes.
over? Come on, Erlita.
Are you ready?
I guess.
Everyone, this is Erlita Neri, and she'll help you with NIH.
Maybe you want to say what school you serve?
Okay. Yeah, my name is Erlita Neri, or Yet Neri. I serve the primate center and the vet med primarily, but then it depends on the workload. I serve everybody as well. So,
That's good.
so I was given the task to review the RFP, especially the one that's coming. That's coming, which is the RO1 that is due on June 15. So my review is only on the PA 16160, which is used to be the PA 13302. And I don't want to say that there is not major changes because as you read the instruction, there are some wordings that might affect your review. The way I understand it is the agency or the NIH is very, they are looking now on the scientific portion of which they always do, you know, but they are more into the scientific portion of the application. So I still advise you to read the RFP, and then like Chris was saying, in a week or two, we'll send out a more detailed instruction on all these, on all the changes that they have on the new RFP. But right now, what I can tell you, just a quick glance, which I literally review line by line. So on the first page where you can see the mandatory and optional, in the mandatory, there are some modification as to the sequence. There is no new section there, but there is some modification as far as the cover page and the research plan section. And then down below where it says optional, they combined the PHS planned enrollment and the PHS cumulative inclusion enrollment report into one document only, which now is called PHS 398 inclusion enrollment. This is where if you have a human subjects in your application, you need to click, you know, the planned enrollment, and then you have to, used to be another one for the cumulative inclusion. Now you have only one form that you need to fill out. And then the other one that is new in the optional section is, it used to be the PI include a cover letter if they want their application to be reviewed by a certain IC or institute, or even if they want people not included in the review process. So now they added a section that you need to fill out, which is called the PHS assignment request form. So let your PI know. This is very important because, again, this should not be included in the cover letter that used to be as an attachment. This is now a form that the PI needs to fill out. And again, the changes also is on the cover page where they included questions about the vertebrate animals section, where they're asking about the vertebrate animals euthanized question, and everything else the same as far as the budget, and then the modular budget, the senior key personnel. The only thing that's modified also is the PHS 398 research plan, where on the first section, it used to be all together, you know, the introduction, research plan, specific aims, research strategy. They separate that. The introduction is now a standalone section, and then they added a research plan, which includes now the specific aims, research strategy, and the progress report on that section as well. And in that same section, they added the data monitoring plan, which is not on the list, and then the authentication of biological, the one that we ask you to include during the last submission under the old PA 13302. So still, I recommend and advise that you read, because there are more detailed or information that they added in the RFP itself. So I will try to send it to you as soon as I can. I will highlight those that NIH modified the wordings or added some sections into it, so you know quickly which one you need to read and make note of and tell your PI. So I'll keep you posted.
Good.
Thank you.
Any questions?
No.
I think it was pretty straightforward and easy. And she says that there's a test now, which I am sure I'm going to fail. So there's a question from back there.
Really?
I just wanted to mention that if you submit to Cayuse, it will automatically use the Form D, and the Cayuse review will be Form D specific. So that's what.
Could you repeat? It's a backboard test?
Yeah, Pat is saying that for those who are using the Cayuse, the form is automatic. That the Form D is now in the Cayuse system. You don't have to be confused of you are using the old form. And I want to remind also for those, and I understand it's easy for you guys to just copy the old application. So I suggest do a fresh application now, because that 302 application package won't be accepted at all. So go to grants.gov and upload the new Form D.
So does anybody want to talk about Cayuse a little bit? No, there's one more reason that we should be in Cayuse. We should be using it. Mike, do you want to talk about it a little bit, or? Yeah, just here's an expert on Cayuse.
I wouldn't refer to myself as an expert on Cayuse, but I would encourage you to use Cayuse whenever it's practical for your proposals, because as Pat indicated, it does make sure you're using the current versions of all the forms, and it will highlight any mistakes and errors that are in the proposal. So it's very easy, and it results in a cleaner proposal. So anytime you have that opportunity, I encourage you to take advantage of it, to use the Cayuse system.
Okay, good. Thank you. Some other fast updates, and then we would go to accounting. Last time I told you that we had a lot of vacancies in our office. Little by little, we are trying to bring people in and fill those vacancies. And also, I told you that 3 out of the 4 team leaders, those positions were vacant last time. I gave you a report. The good news is that now we have filled 2 of those 3. And still we are working on the 3rd one. One of those 2 out of 3 is already in position and has taken the job already, and the other one would start beginning of the month. So next month I would be able to introduce the 2nd one. The first one is Brian, who you probably, some of you know him. Come on over, Brian. Say a couple of words. Brian has been in the office for several years, and now he's moving from the position he had to the leadership of one of the teams. So you say a little more about what you...
Yeah, well, first of all, I look forward to continuing to work with everyone. I've taken over the team leader position for the awards for overseeing College of Letters and Sciences, Engineering, and College of Ag. So the role that was filled by Joe Garrido, I'm now filling that role. I will also continue to serve as the point person for day-to-day awards matters for the College of Letters and Sciences until that position is filled.
Great. Thank you very much. I don't have to say welcome aboard, but welcome aboard. You have been welcome to your new role. Francisco or Deborah, whichever, from CGA Accounting. Thank you.
Hi. I just have a quick announcement about cost sharing and the indirect rate proposal. So this is our base year for the indirect rate. So we're using the 15-16 expenses to compute what our new indirect rate should be going forward. So one of the components of that is cost sharing, and it's really important for those of you who process cost share, there are 2 ways that you set up your cost share. You either set up your tracking entries and then import transactions that have already hit the ledger, or you set up your transactions and then the system will import those automatically as you go through your award. Either way, in that imported transaction approval screen, if you have transactions sitting out there that aren't approved or rejected, we don't know how to categorize them for purposes of the F&A rate. So we would like to ask everybody to take a look at your cost share awards and go through and approve or reject transactions that are sitting out in the imported transaction approval screen on as regular a basis as you can manage. We definitely need to start looking at the data by the late summer. So if you can start now and kind of get caught up on things while once things kind of slow down for the summer. I know slow down is kind of a joke, but when you have the time, if you could go through and handle some of those imported transactions and decide whether they really do belong as cost share on your awards or not, that would really help us out so that we aren't just throwing out a bunch of transactions that we actually should be including for our F&A rate. Does anybody have questions about that? Okay, I think that's it.
Francisco. Thank you.
Good morning. 1 year has gone by and we're getting ready for fiscal close again. So this is just a basic reminder to clear the overdrafts. Because remember, if you have an overdraft and there is no continuation on the award, it eventually winds up in the dean's office. It might get some people upset. So please clear them. Also expire the accounts. Okay, we have been monitoring them and most of the accounts have been closed. But it is important that if there's still an active award where you have closed, you have ended some work on some of the expense accounts, please expire those accounts. The other thing is important is that you monitor your sub-awards with regard to payments. The new uniform guidance requires that if we give a sub-award, we pay them within 30 days. And in some cases, some of the sub-awardees take their time sending us invoices. For fiscal close, we need to know what is the true expenditures of those sub-awards. So I would like you to contact your sub-awardees and ask for any back invoices. And then toward the end of the fiscal year, ask them for estimate of the amounts that they will not have time to invoice before the end of the fiscal year. So you can do your accruals. So we're going for fiscal close. Remember, this is a team effort. It's the departments and us to make sure that it goes well.
Okay, thank you. Well, any questions for anybody who has presented or any other questions? Do you have anything online?
Yeah, I just asked them. They have questions. I can pass it.
Okay, thank you. So there's nothing online yet. I don't know what else. It's not even 9 in the morning yet. Well, anything else? Any update? The AB 20 is, we were talking about is going forward, as you know, as expected. Lots of sponsors, state sponsors are following it. Some of them still have questions about it. Remember that any proposal which goes to state has to have 25% indirect. Awards which are coming in since beginning of the year based on proposals this year definitely are subject to 25%. But we are having some discussions with some of the sponsors that, as well as the departments, that they think that lower indirect should apply. Unfortunately, we might not have any room to have anything less than 25. And OP has not been given exceptions in most cases. So that's the number that we have to use right now for this year.
And all the proposals should be in 80-20 format, and they should all come through as well. There should be proposals going directly to the state.
Okay, then I don't know if we went through the system, but Mike also reminded all of us that all proposals going to state, they have to use the AB20 format, and they cannot bypass our office. They have to come through our office. If they bypass the office, there would be no way that we would be able to fix any problems, and when the award comes in, it has to be in the form of AB20. So to make sure that nobody's upset at the end of the day when they get an award and things get slowed down to comply with the rules that state and university have put in place, we have to help everybody to understand that the proposals have to come through the office for state, as well as anywhere else, actually, for that matter. I don't have anything else there. You don't have any questions, right? Well, there's nothing else. So do you have no updates from costing policy? So next round, maybe we can start talking about indirect, as Deborah talked about it, that this is the base year for calculation of doing the numbers for next round. I don't have anything else, and seems like we are done for today. So we can go do our work at our desks. Thank you very much, and see you next month.